Well, look who it is. The guy that everybody wants to talk with, that everybody wants to know so much more about. Joshua Dobbs joins us now. And Joshua, you have taken Minnesota by storm. Do you wake up some mornings and kind of even figure, where am I right now? Because it's been such a whirlwind for you.
It has been a whirlwind. It has been a whirlwind, but I will say right now I know exactly where I am. It's been awesome to be up here in Minnesota, man, and just receive just so much love and support from my teammates, coaching staff, and everyone at the facility, but also from the fans. Like just taking everything in stride and running with it over the past couple of weeks has been a lot of fun. So first game in US Bank Stadium was electric. It definitely probably outlived the hype that I was expecting for the game. I was just telling some of my friends, like, that was probably one of the most fun times I've had ever playing football. So it was great to be entrenched in that environment, man. Get a big win at home, and I'm excited to see where this train keeps rolling to.
What made it stand out to you? You said it was the most electrifying atmosphere you've been in. What made it that way for you?
I think it just started with just the environment pulling up to the game, right? Like seeing, all the purple jerseys walking into the stadium as we're pulling up hours before the gates even open. And then, getting down on the field, coming out for just the pre-game warm-ups. And there's already people on the sideline, high fives as you're coming out through the lounge, as you walk onto the field, which is super unique. I've never been a part of an experience like that where you leave the locker room, get fan interaction as you're walking onto the field. And then obviously the pregame antics of the Skol chant, like taking that all in, the snow coming from the ceiling as you're running out of the tunnel. And then all that emotion just leading up to game time of, just the crowd being locked in on offense, on defense, on special teams, being loud when the defense is out on the field, giving the offense the opportunity to work and communicate, and just being locked into the game. It was an electric environment. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah, like from the start to the beginning, then even walking off the field, like high-fiving the fans as you're running back through I think it's the Delta Lounge back into the locker room. Like the whole atmosphere, the whole game day environment from a player's perspective, I'm sure from even a fan's perspective, is extremely unique and a lot of fun.
So you've been in so many different places and different offenses with different coaches. Why do you think it has clicked here so well for you so quickly?
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to my teammates and coaching staff of, creating plans that have allowed me to come in and be able to quickly get adjusted and acclimated to the production that they've put up over the past 2 seasons here. And then just being able to go out and just play free football. It's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of teammates, a lot of help. I was talking about it yesterday after the game. Like the QB room has been a tremendous resource, starting with Chris O'Hare and Grant as the coaches in the room, and then the players like Nick Mullins, Sean Mannion, who have been around this scheme longer than I have, and then Kurt and Jaron as well, who have played in the scheme this year. Like being able to bounce ideas off of them, have that collective involvement in the room has been awesome. Has really honestly helped me, get acclimated very quickly, and I'll continue to rely on them as we push forward in the preparation stages as it ramps up to game day, because it definitely takes a great team, not only entirely across the team, but also like in the QB room to help prepare for games and stuff. So I've had a great support group around me, which has allowed me to go out and just be me on game day. And yeah, I'm just blessed to be in this opportunity. I'm blessed to be in the position and have this opportunity that I have here in Minnesota.
So how do you get it all out of your head though, right? You have all these people high-fiving you, yelling your name, and you're in a new environment. You're still learning guys' names, yet you're so calm under center that you know what exactly is going on. How have you been able to process that, keep the emotion over here, still draw on it to, ramp up your play, but not let it overtake you?
Yeah, I just, I'm really good at compartmentalizing, and as I think it's becoming my motto in life. Like I just take it one play at a time, take it one meeting at a time. I take it one day at a time. I just really just stay in the moment, and that helps. Like, there's a lot of moving parts on game day, as we all know, and obviously just with my situation, there's been a lot of, we've kind of pulled the curtain back to what goes on at the quarterback position, then what's a crash course example of the quarterback position. And so just to be able just to process a lot of information, but also stay in the moment and not let the emotions of everything going on, like off the field, affect the play, are something that I take a lot of pride in, just how I'm able to process it all. So, yeah, like it's there's a lot going on. But man, like each week is completely independent of their own. And so as we continue to push forward, man, like the same habits that have allowed myself and the team to play at the standard that we're playing so far, we got to continue to rely on those and continue preparing the same way in order to continue playing good football as we push into late November and into December.
All right, you mentioned pulling back the curtain. You're doing that for fans with your podcast. You're pulling the curtain back, letting everybody see what's going on in your world. Why has this become something that you felt was important to do at this stage of your career?
Yeah, man. Like, so I started the Torchbearer podcast with my friends from Tennessee, Trey Smith, Super Bowl champ from Kansas City Chief, as well as Beach Galloway and Thomas Edwards, who we ran around with during our time at the University of Tennessee. And it's been, to your point, man, it's been cool to pull back that curtain and just give people a glimpse of what it's like living in the NFL. Social media today is so powerful. And so the way that we like to use it, and I like to use it, is to show like, hey, like this is what the life looks like. Like Trey obviously has been in Kansas City his entire career, and the way he's playing, he'll probably be in Kansas City his entire career. For me, my journey's looked a little different as I'm on, as we all know, like my third team shoot this year. And so the goal is just to show the human side of it, right? Like, we are humans, as much as, you see us on TV and we're out there, playing on Sundays. There is a huge human side to this game, the NFL, this life. And so the goal is to show that, right? Like show what it's like to be an NFL player, show the ups and downs, both sides of the coin, but also show what we like to do off the field, our interests, our passions, our hobbies. And so starting the Torchbearer pod as obviously Torchbearer, giving homage back to the University of Tennessee with the Torchbearer statue right in the middle of campus, man. It's been great to not forget our roots, not forget the people that have poured into us to bless us with the opportunities that we have today in the NFL, and also show people what the day-to-day lives are of an NFL athlete.
So what do you want fans to take away from the podcast? Is there a lesson, or is there something that you want to get out there to show people that, we're just like you? Is that kind of the goal, or what are you looking at for maybe younger players that are watching you and seeing you go through all these steps?
I think it's there's a multiple of angles, right? It's for the common fan to just see like what are the ins and outs and the nuances of the NFL. There's so many people that have such a huge affinity for the NFL and their respective teams, and we want to show like this is what it's like playing for the Vikings, playing for the Chiefs. And then from there, it's to the younger athletes that are striving for a successful career in the NFL, striving to get that college scholarship of their choice, and also have other interests other than just the sport they're playing, is to show them that, no matter what your goals are, no matter how far-fetched they are, no matter who tries to dim the light on your goals, man, if you work hard enough, if you sacrifice, if you have your priorities in the right place, man, like you can put in the work and achieve whatever you want in this world, whether that's on the sporting field or whether that's in any realm off the field. So it's a dual purpose, right? Like pull back the curtain, just show people what the life looks like, and then also serve as inspiration to the young student athletes out there that are striving to live out their dreams and are working hard every single day to achieve those goals.
All right. So how did you do it? Because there was so many times where it looked like you were up against a brick wall, a dead end, so to speak. Yet you kept striving when other people said, nah, we're going to move you on somewhere else. We don't see what you feel you have in yourself. What burned inside of you that said, dang it, I'm going to show you guys I can do this?
Yeah, unwavering self-confidence, and then always learning, man. Like that's the biggest thing that I've learned throughout my journey. You know, my first time not being the starter was my rookie year in the NFL. I started every game of every team I was on since I started playing football when I was 5 years old. And so, going through a very different, obviously, introduction to the NFL and being behind a Hall of Famer and Ben Roethlisberger and learning every single day behind him just gave me a ton of perspective. Obviously, I was in some other situations before I got my first starting shot last year in Tennessee, and then ultimately a prolonged shot in Arizona. But always being a student of the game and never letting my confidence in myself waver. I think those were the two biggest things I learned throughout my journey. And I recognized early, like my journey to being a starter in NFL was going to be different, just the nature of the situation, how I was drafted, everything I was going through. And I accepted that. I wasn't always satisfied with it, but I accepted it. But I also worked hard every single day in order to, put myself in the position to take advantage of whatever opportunities were thrown my way. I think Tom Brady always said, he was like, they put you out there on that field, man, that first time, and you aren't ready for the opportunity, they may never put you out there on that field again. And so every single time, I would go to a facility or work out in the off season or go spend extra time like learning, studying the playbook. It was so that whenever that opportunity came, whether it was tomorrow or 5 years down the road, I'll be ready for it. And so it's a blessing to be in this opportunity. Obviously, I'm not naive, man. I got a lot of more work to do. There's a long road ahead, man, but I'm excited with where we are as a team. And I'm just blessed to be here, man. And I'm working hard every day to continue making the most of the opportunity.
All right. Last week in the podcast, you shared the whirlwind of moving, of getting your stuff here, of packing. And if it was up to you, you wouldn't have had half the stuff you packed until your girlfriend straightened you out on that. What are you sharing this time around? What do you guys get into this week?
So this week we shared the difference in preparing for a game when you get the reps obviously with the team and you're throwing to the receivers in practice, and when you don't, and how much more comfortable you're going to be out there on the field. So I just showed like the preparation, how different this week looked from last week. Obviously last week was moving and new team and learning new people, and then crazy game, and this week another crazy game, but a little more normalcy in the prep leading up to the game. And so it was a great dialogue. Trey Smith was coming off a bye week, but they're getting ready for a Super Bowl rematch against the Eagles, so we got a chance to talk about that huge matchup coming up. And then some other things like, hey, what does an NFL player do on his bye week? Trey pulled back the curtain on that a little bit as well in the pod. So some definitely unique topics, man. We had a lot of fun diving into them, and I'll be excited for everyone to check it out.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your podcast with us here on our channels, because Viking fans just can't get enough of you right now. A lot of them also asked me about the hat, the Astro Dobbs. Now that's something that near and dear to you, and your dad is the shipping agent right now.
Yeah, man. Astro Dobbs is my personal brand. I've appreciated the support over this week, man. Like orders have been flowing. My dad, my parents are helping me move my stuff from Arizona up to Minnesota, and so they were up for the game yesterday. And I asked my dad, I said, "So you guys are flying to Arizona tonight?" He said, "No, I got to fly back to Atlanta. I got some orders to get out." So people were ordering during the game, man. They're putting my dad to work. He retired a couple years ago, so he's not complaining about the work. So if you guys want to keep putting the man to work, he is asking for the work. He's not complaining about it.
Astro Dobbs, how did you come up with it? What does it mean? And what's the message behind it?
Yeah, so Astro Dobbs, my nickname I got during my time at Tennessee was Astro Dobbs, actually, just for my background in aerospace engineering and all the connections with NASA and everything. So created a brand around that. Not only to serve as a cool brand, but also inspiring people to go out and achieve their goals and dreams, both on and off, whatever their realm or field are, and to set the highest goals that they want and work hard every single day to go out and achieve them. And so in addition to the Astro Dobbs, I started the Extraordinary Dobbs Foundation to pour back into the communities that have supported me, whether it's Knoxville, Tennessee, Alpharetta, Georgia, where I'm from, Pittsburgh, where I was drafted, and then obviously getting great support from Minnesota. So Minnesota is quickly added to the list. But whatever it is, man, I've had a lot of people pour into my journey. And so the Extraordinary Dobbs Foundation does a great job giving back to those communities.
Well, that's awesome. Let's hope this is your last stop. You need to keep moving. Your parents are tired of packing your stuff.
They are.
You got leases in 3 different cities, I think, with apartments. I think it's time for you to put some roots down and to hang out here for a while.
Man, that sounds nice. Purple feels good. So we'll see where the future takes us, man. But I'm just living in the moment, taking it all in stride. So I appreciate the support.